And at this time, I'm pleased to introduce our keynote speaker for this evening. She's appeared numerous times on the Oprah Winfrey Show, CNN, and the Today Show. She's a nationally known speaker and a relationship consultant. Dr. Pat Love.
I'm such a good match for this program because literally, when I turned 50, I decided, you know what? I am going to make my mental and physical health, I'm going to put it at the top of the list for the first time in my life. You know, it's always been other people, other things, other projects, but I got it that if I didn't do that, nobody else was going to do it. And I started knocking on doors and gathering resources because I really believe that you have to be your own medical director. And you have to get the right people to help you and be on your board and be on your staff. And I started knocking on doors until I found the right practitioners. And then, lo and behold, you know, a few years later, I discovered there's a whole program that's done that for you. And that's what this program is about. And I'm so happy to be part of it. So let's look at some points on how to improve any relationship without talking about it. And the first one is hold on to your core values. Now, what does that mean? I'm going to ask each one of you at your table to think of 3 characteristics that you stand for. What do I mean by that? I want you to think of how you want people to remember you. I want you to think of when you're dead and gone, the people that you love, what do you want them to say about you? What do you want to be known for and remembered for? I want you to think of 3 characteristics that you're known for. These are the characteristics that make you you. This is really your badge of honor, so to speak, but 3 characteristics, 3 core values, because these will help you improve any relationship without talking about it if you hold on to them. When others speak ill of you, live your life so that no one will believe it. Sometimes you do go back and you make amends. You know why? Not for him, for her. Because she knew she'd feel better about herself because she stepped away from her core values. We all do it. We all do it. So what you do when that happens is you make amends because you feel better about yourself when you do the right thing. Don't let your husband, wife, partner decide what kind of person you're going to be. Don't let your colleague or coworker or boss or family member decide what kind of person you're going to be. You decide that. You know, my profession, psychology, you know, counseling, therapy, for years taught follow your feelings, act on your feelings. I want to here to tell you that is such bad advice. Bad advice, because feelings are rooted in the past. Feeling tells you to move, what to do, but it's rooted in the past. And feelings are this way. If you don't feed them, they don't last very long. If you feed them and dwell on it and act on it, then you reinforce it. So one way to improve any relationship without talking about it is to manage, to regulate your emotions, because emotions are contagious. Do you know it is depressing to work with an angry person? The only way you can prevent yourself from catching negative emotions is to be proactively positive, meaning you've got to have an attitude of optimism, positive thinking, gratitude, counting your blessings, looking on the bright side of life to prevent yourself from catching that. You know, it's sort of a no-brainer to be nice to nice people. That's easy. It takes very little effort. But to be nice when people around you aren't nice really enhances not only the atmosphere in which you live and work, but it enhances your own mental health. And it was about 2 weeks ago, I was in Philadelphia, And it was a large group of therapists, and I was doing a full day of training, and at one point, a woman raises her hand. She says, you know, I've been married for 23 years, and she said, I understand this thing about men and how they feel shame and inadequacy, and they want to please us. And she said, and there's some things that I want in our relationship, but I don't want to ask because I'm afraid I'll embarrass him, and I'll make him feel inadequate, and I just don't know how to put it because I don't want to complain. Finally, this guy, who was clear at the back of the room, stood up, held up his hands and yelled and said, just tell us what you want. This is my bias. I believe that men understand women better than women understand men. That's a bias. Now here's why I'm saying that. You ask 100 men and it will be conclusive that long ago they gave up ever understanding a woman. Men don't even pretend to try to understand women, but women still think we understand men. And there are lots of things we don't understand about men. Do you know, if you look at a woman and look at her brain activity when she's talking, the pleasure and reward center is getting squirts of dopamine. She's getting high from it. You know, the planners of this meeting knew it would be no problem you sitting here for 30 minutes with nothing going on. They knew we'd entertain ourselves and be having a great time. No problem. You put a bunch of men in a room and you're going to have, yes, some of them talking, but some of them will not be talking. And it's not that men dislike talking, they just don't get high on it. You know, they just don't get giddy about it. They don't get that excited. So it's not that they dislike it, but their language will be different. They just don't get the dopamine squirt that we get from talking. Okay. By the way, men, there's only, yes, men, if there's a man around that's watching this. There he is, that poor guy. That's a real man that can come to this group, I'll tell you what.